Stop. Before you scroll past, before you do anything else, answer me one question. Honestly, when was the last time you did something that the person you want to become would actually be proud of? If that question made something tighten inside your chest, then what I'm about to tell you is exactly what you need to hear. There was a young man, 23 years old, not broken, not lazy in the way people imagine. Actually, he had real dreams, real desires, a real burning want to be more than what he was. He thought about his future every single day, on the bus, before sleeping, after waking. He could see the life he wanted as clearly as a film playing on a screen. And then he would put his phone down, roll over, and go to sleep, same as the night before. Now here is where it gets uncomfortable, because this man, this intelligent, feeling, dreaming man, had an excuse for everything, and every single one of them sounded completely reasonable. I'm not a morning person. My mind needs rest. Creativity can't be forced. Next week will be different. I just needed this week to reset. And when anyone tried to push him, he had the most powerful excuse of all. He said, "I know myself. This is just how I am. Not everyone operates the same way." And they would back off, because how do you argue with a man who has turned his limitations into a philosophy? He wasn't lying. He genuinely believed it. He had repeated those sentences so many times that they stopped being excuses. They became his identity, his personality, the story of who he was. One night, nothing special. He was standing in his bathroom. Harsh white light, cold tile under his feet. He looked up into the mirror, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't look away. He looked at himself the way you look at a friend who keeps making the same mistake and refuses to see it. And in that silence, his own voice spoke. Quiet, clear. "You are 23 years old. How long are you going to keep doing this?" He gripped the sink, and he started asking himself real questions. "I'm not a morning person. Have you ever honestly tried? Or did you fail twice at 16 and turn it into a life sentence? I'm not built for discipline. When did you build that belief? Were you born with it, or did you build it yourself, one skipped day at a time, one abandoned plan at a time, until the walls were so thick you forgot you built them?" And standing there in that harsh light, the answer arrived. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet and devastating. "These are not my personality. These are my patterns, and I have been protecting them as if they were something precious." Here is what he understood that night. Weakness never introduces itself as weakness. It is too smart for that. It studies you, it finds what you value most, and it hides behind it. If you value authenticity, weakness says, "Just be yourself." If you value sensitivity, weakness says, "You feel things deeply. You can't operate like ordinary people." It hides behind your greatest quality, so you end up defending your weakness with your own strength, and you call it self-awareness. But there is a difference between knowing yourself and being comfortable with a version of yourself that was never actually you. The version that avoids hard things, that is not your personality. That is your fear wearing your face. The version that starts and never finishes, that is not your nature. That is a habit you never challenged. He didn't cry that night. He didn't make a long list. He didn't tell anyone. He just made one quiet decision. The next time an excuse arrived, he would stop, look at it, and ask one honest question. Is this actually true, or is this just comfortable? Because comfortable says, "This is who I am," and true says, "This is who I have been choosing to be." One sentence locks you in place. The other gives you back the only thing that matters: choice. Now, I am speaking to you. What have you been calling your personality that is actually just your pattern? What label have you been wearing like it was stitched into your skin, when really you picked it up one day when you were scared and just never put it down? Your patterns are not permanent. Your history is not your destiny. The fact that you have been a certain way for 1 year, 5 years, your entire life means nothing about who you can be starting from right now. But you have to be willing to stop being comfortable with a smaller version of yourself. You have to look in that mirror and say, that excuse I've been carrying, that story I keep telling about why I can't, I am done letting it sound like truth, because it was never truth. It was just comfortable noise, and I have been turning it up every time the real thing got too close. The young man still had hard mornings after that night. The old voice was still there, but he could hear it differently now, not with belief, with recognition. And that recognition, that quiet, unglamorous recognition, was enough. Because transformation is not the absence of the old voice. It is just the refusal to obey it. You are not your weakness. You never were. You are the person underneath the pattern. And that person has been waiting for you to stop mistaking the cage for your character. Stop waiting. The door is open. Walk through it. If this reached something inside you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video. Subscribe to, because every week we come back here to tell stories that don't just pass the time, but find what's hiding inside you and refuse to let it stay hidden. Until next time, be honest with yourself. That's where your real life begins.